I'm your host, Jonathon Buckley, and today we're taking a look behind the world of dance with our guest who wears many hats. She's a dancer, choreographer, a producer, director, and a philanthropist. I'm talking about Charissa Barton, who's best known for her work creating the viral smash hit intro to the DC series Peacemaker. Carissa, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I'm really excited because I've had so much fun diving into your world, knowing that I'm going to get the chance to sit with you and talk to you today. So obviously, Peacemaker has become a big part of your life now.
Yeah.
Did that come about randomly? Did James reach out to you?
No, it was James had a couple of assistants that he was working with at the time, and I knew one of those assistants. Her name was Brittany, and she called or she texted me one day and said, "Hey, James is here shooting a show, and he wants the intro to be a dance. Can I submit you?" And I said, "Of course." Yes, please do. Yeah. Please do. Yeah. And so I updated my resume and updated my reel and sent it off, and then just waited for the phone call, and sure enough, it came. And I met with the producers first, and they talked about the work. They gave me the song. They asked me how I would approach it. The song, by the way,
we're so good. Is so good.
It's a different song for season 2.
Is it? I had a feeling it was going to be.
Yes.
I'm going to ask about that in a second.
Yeah.
But the song, is it Wigwam is the band?
Wigwam, yes.
Wigwam from Norway?
Yes.
Now, I'd heard that the band had kind of not, become a little more obscure, and then this has just kind of pulled them out and really done wonders for them as well.
Yeah, evidently, I don't remember the exact story, but evidently I think they had parted ways with their manager or something, and anyway, then, and the things weren't going well in the way that they had hoped. And then this just completely revitalized their,
I love that. I just love that. I love a bit of hair metal, and I just think, So anyway.
They were fun. That was a fun song to make a dance to.
So you got given the song, and you were and this is
This is the song. And I think they were more interested in hearing about the different people that they were bringing in or considering. We all have different approaches, and I think they wanted to get a sense of who we individually were and how we would approach the work and some of the challenges that we foresaw. Oh, I had sent a mood board, like a digital mood board with some clips of some of the things that I had in mind that I would want to build into it. And they liked what they saw, and we had a good interview. So one of them was a contrast with height. So we knew that some people were really tall in the cast, and Ne was really small. And so from a comedy standpoint, that contrast is really naturally very funny. And so I just found a picture of a really tall person and a really small person, and then pointed to, in the interview, was able to point to it and say, these two doing a lift together or doing something together could be really charming and fun. And it wound up being John and Ne. And a couple of other things were some movement. I think that I had posted something of myself doing a couple of things. There were a few things that didn't make it, but on that call, James pointed out the things that he liked.
Right.
I like this one, I like this one, I like this idea, and I like this idea. There were 5 or 6 of them. And that gave me a really solid foundation to work with. So when I got the job, and actually it was just before Christmas, the Christmas holidays, and I had the interview. I felt that it went really well. I felt like I was the right person for the job, but you never know. And, I didn't have the heavy-duty reel that some other people had that had worked on big shows before. And so I felt like I have the goods. I do feel really confident about this, but I also understand why I may not get the job. You never know. So it was before Christmas, and I didn't get a call. It was 2 weeks later. I still hadn't gotten a call. And I was pretty disappointed. And then, New Year's came around, and I was like, oh, gosh, I really felt like maybe this was going to happen. Yeah. And then it was 2 days after the New Year, and I got a call from one of the producers, and he was like, "Yeah, we'd like for you to join us." So by then I had already completely let it go. So
how exciting.
Which was exciting, and it was
Yeah.
also sort of like a life lesson, like, let it go sooner.
Let it go soon. Yeah,
Just
you
let
could have
it
saved
go.
yourself a lot of anguish.
Yeah, really. And
Yeah.
then, if it's meant for you, it'll come, and if it's not, it won't. Like, it's as simple as that. So I was very grateful and very excited. And like I said, I had a really solid foundation to work off of, and so that gave me some confidence. And then it was just fun and playing and
And
having
that translates totally. I mean, that as an intro for a TV series.
Yeah.
As I mentioned when we first started, I've been very excited delving into your world because I hadn't seen the series of Peacemaker.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, all right, let's have a look. So I sat down and I watched it, and that intro, it just captures so much of what of the tone of the series in such a short period. It just paints the picture. You know what you're getting into, and it rapidly became something that I actively look forward to. There's not very many.
Nice.
There's not many intros for TV series. There's a couple that I could name. I always used to like listening to Sopranos and watching that at the beginning, the intro. And Game of Thrones was another one. I used to always watch the intro and not skip through. But this is like probably the only one in recent memory that would actively look forward to the intro of the Peacemaker series. And so anyway, I've watched the whole series now. Loved it. Can't wait for series 2. Yeah. But there are so many little gems within it. Rewards multiple watching, if that makes any sense. And I'm not trying to blow too much smoke, obviously, because we're here having a chat. But, just little things. With some of those little things, were they all choreographed by you, or were they sort of added? Were there things that you discovered throughout the process with various actors?
Yeah. So the very first, thank you, by the way. That's really nice to hear when you know that there are people that can watch your work more than once and still appreciate it. It's very validating. So thank you.
I mean it 100%. Like my wife's away at the moment. As soon as she gets back, I'm like, you've got to watch this
weird thing.
This thing. There's so many things that I could point to. The flipping up of the camera.
Right. Yeah. So I'll start by saying that a key thing, a key part of the process was approaching it in earnest, like taking it very seriously and not trying to be funny. Yeah. I think that would have been a mistake. To try to be funny with it just would have come off as goofy or stupid. So there's something about taking it seriously and approaching it earnestly, both from myself and from the cast. Yeah. Learning the moves and approaching it with a full commitment that worked or was the right choice.
It's a hard balance to find, though.
It's a hard balance to find. And then James, James wanted straight faces, and that was a huge part of what made it work.
The deadpan faces.
The deadpan is absolutely the right way
100%.
to go.
Yeah, 100%.
So with that, I started the process with my husband, Alan Tudyk, who's an actor and actually also in the DC world. And he was my test subject. I knew his level of ability, and I think he represented the average level of danceability.
Compliment? Is that compliment? Yeah. It's a solid
As
average.
As an actor, he's next level. I can't even. I have so much respect. He's an incredibly talented actor.
He is.
But as a dancer, he would agree. Like average guy,
average
good.
Dancer.
Yeah. So he was the perfect subject because I could test things out on him, and I also, there are time constraints. Like you don't have a ton of time to teach people, and you just sort of count on the fact that they're going to work on things themselves. You have a very limited amount of time to work with each actor, and so it had to be attainable. And so I knew that if Alan would get it in a certain period of time, and he also helped me to kind of find the language for how to communicate different movement, because speaking to a dancer is very different from speaking to an actor. It's a different language in terms of movement. And so in terms of the very first rehearsal that we had, like official rehearsal was, well, actually the first rehearsal that I had was in our living room. And I shot a bunch of different moves that could be pieced together and sent that off to James just to make sure, is this in the vein that you have in mind? And this is what I'm thinking. And it got the thumbs up. And so then brought Alan into a dance studio. So it was our first official studio rehearsal. And it was between the two of us. I gave him some moves. It was Alan that did. He's like, what if there's like a helmet thing? And I was like, great idea. So let's play with like this. Became like from Alan saying, let's play with the helmet. Great. So that came out of that. It was quite collaborative in that first rehearsal. And he was able to do it, like a full sequence of movements pretty quickly. So I was like, okay, this feels like a really good start. And then at that point, it was mostly me alone, just experimenting. A lot of bad ideas. Like I would film myself and then play them back, and a lot of bad ideas. And I was able, among all of the things that I put out, I was able to go, no, that's good, and that'll work, and that'll work, and that'll work, and then extract those from that, and then piece them together. And so I spent a lot of time on my own. And then at a certain point, I had assistants because I needed assistants to help to demonstrate for the actors and work with, if we had more than one actor in the room at the time, which the first season we had a little more, a few more group rehearsals. Second season, it was just one-on-one. And then watching, having dancers in the room, then I'm able to play a little bit more with modifying some movement and things like that. But this came from Danielle. So originally we were doing just
right,
this.
Okay.
And Danielle Brooks was like, can we flip off
very
the camera?
quick. It was very, it's not, it's just...
Yeah, it's very quick. And I went, absolutely, yes, yes, such a good idea. And so we built that in. There were some, at the very end of the first one, there's about 4 counts where each actor does their own thing. So in rehearsal with each of them, I was like, how do you feel? What do you feel like your character would do? Yeah, a little freestyle. Yeah. And they all had different ideas about what those would be. And so we, I would take their input and then formalize it and make it work rhythmically and musically. And anyways, but each of them had a contribution on that level. And then it was also, like John, the first season, was like, can you do a lift? And I think at that time he had a shoulder injury. Uh-huh. And so lifting like this 30, 40 takes would have done some harm. And so the solution to that was putting no on wires.
Oh, you would never know.
You'd never know.
No.
And so we did, and then we were able to do as many takes as we needed without hurting John. And this season the shoulders were better, so he was able to do the lift with Jen. We did so many takes of that lift with Jen. Wait, you have seen the second one?
I have not seen this. So we'll get onto that. Don't, okay.
Rewind that.
Okay. But this might come out a little later, but...
So John does another lift.
Okay.
In the second season, and we did many, many, many takes. Yeah. And he's such a pro. He did it without hesitating. So there's a lot of back and forth, but most of it is done way in advance.
There's so much that goes into it. It's really so much that goes into it, and I think you can see in the final result. I particularly like it's little things. It's the little things. Eagly's little shuffle at the end. It's just just getting himself into position or whatever he's doing. Like there's so many fun little moments.
Yeah, I was surprised to see. That's one of my favorite things about the dance, and that was the VFX team.
Was it really? Mm-hmm. It's just a little, the tiniest little thing. It's just a little shuffle.
And I went, you guys nailed it. So good.
So they took a little creative license.
Yeah,
I love that.
And I don't know, maybe James, that was a guidance from James. Mm-hmm. It could have been. Yeah. But it's excellent. So there are little things like that in it too. Like I'll get a lot of the credit for the dance because the choreography. But there's so many different. There's the stage, mm-hmm. the costumes, the edit, all those little touches, like Eakley, like the animators like nailed that. Nailed it. But musically, there were certain things that had to happen very, very specifically in order to connect the movements between edits, which means there were some edits that had to happen in very specific moments. Season 1, I was very controlling over when that was like a half second, you to shave off just a little bit of that. Yeah. Of that note in that, or like edit, cut it a little quicker so that this connects with this musically better, and it was very, very, very controlled in that way. This one's a little freer in terms. There's so much more happening. It's a lot more complex. The second one,
Well,
was very ambitious.
I'm excited to. Yeah, I can't. Well, obviously, you can tell I'm excited. I haven't seen it yet. But were you surprised at the response from the first season intro?
Yeah.
Was that? I mean, obviously, I'm sure when you saw it back, you knew you were onto something good. But the response has been.
Yeah.
Some people are calling it the greatest television intro of all time.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
Yeah.
No, I had zero expectation for that. Of course, we wanted it to be the best thing that it could be.
Yeah.
And it was a really risky thing to do. So, James making that call and taking the risk with his show that's like so close to him and meaningful to him was a really ballsy move. And I really appreciated the trust that he put into me to do the work. And so when it all comes together like that and the response is so positive, it's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
And it was surprising that it was that people felt as connected to it as they did. Like people learning the dance.
Yeah.
I think that was a piece that I didn't expect. I guess there was a part of me that had hoped, like, if we do this right, it'll be something that they'll want to watch over and over and over again. But I don't know that I took it as far as thinking that people would want to learn the moves, which is the best consequence.
I was going to say, I feel like
how cool.
You're going to be at Comic-Con and there's going to be people...
Like people doing the dance. Like that's a neat thing. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very humbling too. Like, it really is, because you can do the best job that you can, and that again you have to, like we said earlier, let it go. You just have to let go.
Sometimes the stars just align too, all the ingredients just come together at just the right time. And it's hard to really put your finger on, but you capture something in that moment and it just works.
It just works, yeah.
Yeah. So August 21st is season 2.
Yes.
And I'm going to be sitting on my couch ready to watch.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the new intro dance yet. Are you excited? Are you happy with it?
I am. I'm nervous.
I understand.
It's a lot of pressure. I'm very grateful to the cast for showing up in the way that they did. They were very ready to dance. The first season, I think there was a little more hesitation. Of course, they showed up as pros and did an excellent job. This time, they were a lot more eager, which was really great. So I'm grateful to them. We took more risks this time.
Okay.
It's more complex. It's a different song. I have them doing some harder stuff. It's a bigger cast.
Okay.
There was more pressure.
I was going to say, I feel like it's always hard when you have a hit. It's that pressure.
Yeah.
It's tricky to navigate.
I think the way it is tricky, it was very tricky to navigate. I think, and I mean, we'll see how it goes. To go harder. Mm-hmm. To take bigger risks rather than trying to repeat something. I think that would be a mistake. To go balls out. Is that a phrase? Is that like actually, balls out.
I've used it occasionally.
Balls out. And I just really, really go for it.
Yeah.
And we were willing to take the risk the first time. And you have to be willing to take other risks again. And it always feels very scary. But it felt like the way to go. So it meant like throwing some stuff at the like the first season. Some of my first draft stuff was like, cool, this is great. I actually like most of the stuff that I made, but it wasn't necessarily the best for this season or for this cast. So like I have some early stuff with a group of dancers, 17 dancers, that we were playing with that did not make. There were a couple of sections that I played with, like 3 or 4 different variations of sections that I really like. Maybe we'll live somewhere else at some point. But I had to be willing to just throw as much out there as possible and then shape it and count on James also to look at things and go, yeah, no, that's off. That's off in tone. Like we need to this, he wrote and
he really is a creative powerhouse.
He's a powerhouse,
I feel like in everything that he does, as far as his writing and his directing and his imagination and his choices are bold and exciting and refreshing.
Yes.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very good. Yeah, he's got really good instincts. And And I trust him. So I would send him, if I sent him something where the tone was off, he would, convey, I think we need more of the romance in this. Right, okay, cool, yeah, because the romance is a big part of the story. I get to read the scripts once and absorb as much of the story as possible, and then I'm off and making a dance about it. So knowing that James is so intimately connected with this story, he's able to, again, to help to steer the work to be sure that the tone is right for this particular season and story. It was fun because you'd say more. He said more of the romance, and then I was able to draw in my own life. Like in the process of creating this, it was my own anniversary, right in the midst of working on a couple of particular sections for this particular romance that you will learn about. And it was on our anniversary morning, and I had a moment with my husband that was genuine and real, and I went, oh, that's it. I know this is our intimate moment, but I really need to capture this because this I want to build into it, and it made it into the dance. So it's fun. It's a fun process like that.
I'm so excited to see it. I can't even tell you. I'm very excited for you and for your husband. It's an exciting year for you guys.
It's a very exciting year, yeah.
Alan's in Superman, and there's that whole universe is now very interconnected with Peacemaker and Superman, and I'm really excited to see the rest of this year unfold for you. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and talk and get to learn a little bit about you and your life. And I think you've definitely made a huge mark on the world that you've dedicated your life to. So
thank you.
Thanks, Carissa. Appreciate it.